The W destroyed hair salon after she was told to pay rent or leave by the owner of building here in Thailand.
I don't care what it is. I want to gut your ass alive, motherfucker.
You're ugly old ass. Go fuck a prostitute. Go out there and go fuck a prostitute. Go fucking fuck a Thai prostitute and shut the fuck up.
Hey, there's a lot of fun things to do out here in Thailand besides just looking for a wife.
Pour cups of jizz-like substances on him as he's walking through the street.
Keep these people in mind while I continue to read this article. The effects of Western imperialism are still active in this current era. The root causes were created by the white supremacists and those who were born within a racial social structure, regardless of race. They picked up on these ideologies. The ideologies of us being inferior, that we lack education and that we're underdeveloped, as well as being uncivilized. America is one of those places that births these racist degenerates as part of their culture. But remember, not every Americans are idiots.
Don't wanna be an American idiot.
Why do many Westerners, including non-Western people outside of Asia, tend to reduce, women from Thailand, Vietnam, or the Philippines down to just sex workers? And also objectify us to just be like sex machine ready to serve the owners, as well as degrading us that, we can easily be subdued because we lack education. It's all in the history. As white women fought for equal rights, Asian women were seen through limited lens by Western men, that we are submissive, that we're sexually hyperactive, and that we are willing to cater to the Western men's desires, as well as being pitted against another group that's ranked below the white men, which is the white woman. Their sexuality, viewed as naturally excessive and extreme against the white female norm, clearly exists not only within a sexual construct, but a racial construct as well. Furthermore, this sexual racial stereotype emerged as a direct result of the colonial encounter of war, presenting the Asian woman as an object for Western consumption and the satisfaction of Western desires. While contemporary media and the arts portray women generally as objects for consumption, it casts Asian women into the most inferior of all positions, below the white woman. Except for when Asian fetishism comes into play, and that's the only time we get positioned above all races. Like this article here, it mentioned about Asian fetish syndrome much later, but we're not there yet. But it is pretty fucked up. Portrayals of the interrelationships between white American GIs who go overseas, the Asian women they meet there, and the white American woman back home show this dynamic. The 1989 musical Miss Saigon epitomizes the subordinate and objectified position of Asian women. In the musical, an American Marine arranges a one-night stand with Kim, a Vietnamese bar girl in Saigon, shortly before the fall of the city. After the destruction of her village, Kim flees to Saigon, fantasizing about finding a strong GI to protect her. The American Marine then leaves Vietnam, stranding Kim behind stranded in Ho Chi Minh City with their son Tam. The Marine returns home to the United States, where he marries a white woman. He continues with his life happily. Meanwhile, Kim tries to escape and reunite with the Marine. She ends up in Bangkok, Thailand with her son, where she works at a massage parlor. A consistent affirmation that Asian women in her position have no more function than to provide sexual services to men.
Go fucking fuck a Thai prostitute and shut the fuck up.
The Marine and his white wife meet Kim there to adopt Tam. When Kim realizes her American lover has no intention of marrying her, she commits suicide, leaving Tam under the care of the Marine and his new wife. Quietly suggestion, perhaps, that Kim... Shut up, cat! That Kim represents an unfit mother, while the Marine's wife, a white woman, is better suited to raise Tam. Part B, Imperialism, Orientalism, and Sexism. This next part is about Orientalism, and I've already done a cover for this topic. You can watch it in this video of mine. Orientalism views itself and its subject matter with sexist blinders. The local women are usually the creatures of male power fantasy. They express unlimited sensuality. They are more or less stupid, and above all, they are willing. Moreover, when women's sexuality is surrendered, the nation is more or less conquered. Thus, the sexual conquest of Asia's women correlates with the conquest of Asia itself. In 1899, Rudyard Kipling dubbed the West imperialist campaign in the East as the white man's burden. He coined the term in a poem written to root Americans to colonize and rule the Philippines. One former US president took this message to heart from 1894 until this presidency in 1901. Theodore Roosevelt wrote and lectured widely on taking up Kipling's white man's burden. He called imperialism a manly duty that American men must take up. Civilized men had a manly duty to destroy and uplift lesser primitive men, namely Asians, for their own good and the good of civilization. You're the fucking burdens, not us. We're much more civilized than these examples of Western barbarism.
BW destroyed hair salon after she was told to pay rent or leave by the owner of building here in Thailand.
I don't care what it is. I want a fucking good your ass salon, motherfucker. Fuck you. Hey. Yo, I'm yo, check this out, yo, I didn't mean to. I paid money. I pay money. I give money.
We don't fucking care about your dollars. We want your blood.
I take off. Look. Wait. Yeah, chill. Yeah, I give money. I didn't mean to. No. You don't need the money. You don't do like this. Yeah, I didn't mean to destroy property. You don't do that. I know. I'm sorry. You don't need money. You don't do like this in here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was absolutely pathetic.
Roosevelt's express and blatant collocation of colonizing Asia and labeling that act as manly illustrates how throughout American history, imperialism in and even Western scholarship on Asia has been viewed in a sexualized context. Remember this?
Pour cups of jizz-like substances on him as he's walking through the street.
All of them are Americans, and all of them carry the same sense of arrogance and entitlement to repeat this historical mistreatments against Asian people again and again, because it's part of their culture. And also, it's very self-centered of America to even think that other countries were less developed. I mean, they existed before you did. They all had their own sophisticated cultures and trading networks, as well as their own social structures, until the West came along and fucked it up. The Kingdom of Tondo in the Philippines had advanced agricultural practices and had been engaging in neighboring trades until the Spaniards colonized them in the 16th century up until the 18th century. The Spaniards were white European people of Spain. The Spanish Inquisition played a significant role in reversing Spain, from being an Islamic country back to being Christianity again. And one method to make life difficult for Muslims is to promote pork consumption because Muslims don't eat pork. When I visited Barcelona in Spain, I was intrigued by this history. I think the older generations are still affected by, the dictator Francisco Franco, who ruled from 1939 till 1975. He pretty much ruled Spain after the Spanish Civil War. And he had made many people's lives, But I have to say, there's so many weed calves over there. I was really impressed. Do you remember in one of Richie's Max live stream where I sat there and spoke briefly about the history of the Philippines? Like when he mentioned about how the Filipino cuisine have a lot of pork dishes in it. Well, this is due to the Spanish conquista, where they sought to conquer territories of the indigenous people that they meet. So the Philippines were under control by the Spaniards for 300 years. And during that time, they were, forced to convert to Christianity and to eat pork like the Spaniards. I mean, this historical influence is one of the reasons why pork is predominantly featured in Filipino cuisine today. And that's why they're different from Thai people. Nevertheless, Thai people are not immune to this racist attack by outsiders. Even though, Thailand and the Philippines, we have completely different history and it developed very differently. Thailand has been independent from day one, whereas the Philippines has been colonized twice. First by Spain and then by America. During the Philippines revolt against Spanish Inquisition in the late 1800s, the Americans came promising to help. Though the Filipinos hesitated at first, fearing the US might have intentions to colonize their country. President William McKinley gave his word that the US had no design of aggrandizement and no ambition of conquest. Thus, the Filipinos accepted help from the United States and together defeated the Spanish. However, before a Republic of the Philippines could be established, the United States issued the Proclamation of Benevolent Assimilation, in which President McKinley announced the US's intention to annex the Philippines. To make it legal, the United States paid Spain 20 million silver pesos, or 2 silver pesos per Filipino. The Filipinos resisted American colonization, and the Philippine-American War raged for more than a decade, murdering over 250,000 Filipinos. Famine and disease decimated towns in their entirety. Furthermore, the United States used slash and burn techniques, sweeping across the villages. More than half of the country lay in waste from the destruction the Americans caused. While occupying the islands, the American soldiers referred to the Filipinos as little brown fucking machines powered by rice. A sex industry sprang up to cater the US military men, offering a girl for the price of a burger. It was the imperialistic conquest of the islands by the Americans that jump-started the sex entertainment industry in the Philippines. During the Vietnam War, 5 US military bases stationed in Thailand sheltered at any given time 40,000 to 50,000 American GIs. Between 1966 and 1969, up to 70,000 US soldiers came to Thailand for rest and recreation, R&R, which ignited the sex industry in Thailand. R&R facilities have been and continue to be a vital component of the US military policy. With pervasive disregard for human rights, the military grimly accepts and recognizes access to indigenous women's bodies as a necessity for American GI stationed overseas. After the Vietnam War ended, there was a major campaign targeted at white men on sex tourism to sustain Thailand's sex industry. See, this bit is where I questioned this article because I couldn't find anything related to this when I was doing my research. Like, I tried to look for documents about it and I couldn't find it. And you know why I couldn't find it? Because prostitution is illegal in Thailand. That's why I couldn't find it. Also, my critical theorist professor, she emphasized the importance of questioning everything you read. By the early 1990s, several million tourists from Europe and the United States visited Thailand annually, many of them targeting Thailand specifically for its sex and entertainment industry. In 1995, for example, a study reported that 65% of the tourists to Thailand were single men who were on vacations. The white conquest of Asia is far from being a thing of the past, but is a lived experience of many. As a direct result of white imperialism, Asians and members of the Asian diasporas have existed and still exist through a colonized experience. My theory is that the Thai government tried to advertise Thailand as one of those tourist destinations for non-sexpats to enjoy the holiday over there. However, it is unfortunate that many Westerners, they go there for sex business because of what the war has left behind. However, many Westerners marry Thai women and they settle down over there. But of course, there's still a lot of racism and prejudice that are still persistent today, only because of the historical events of Western imperialism that impacted our downfalls. See, Asian men face racial inequality, while Asian women like me, my mom, my auntie, and other Thai women, even Filipinos and also Vietnamese, they face both gender and race inequality from the West, by the West, online and offline. I'm gonna read this bit quickly and then we can all take a break. But first, I have something to show you. Sawadee ka! Are you passionate about learning Thai? Introducing my Patreon. First tier offers weekly posts teaching you essential Thai phrases. Tier 2, join me for exciting live stream where I'll invite special Thai guests. You can chat live with us and participate in Q&A sessions too. And for those who want a community vibe, Tier 3 gives you access to my Thai English community on Discord. Make friends, share languages, and connect with my lovely Thai friends. Visit my Patreon page to see the opening times and join the adventure. Let's build international connections together. Click on the link in the description box below to join, and I'll see you there in my Thai English community on Discord. ขอบคุณค่ะ Bye bye! Part C. Twin Pillars of White Male Domination, Rape and War. Sexual violence against women functions as a fundamental tool of war. In wartime, the rape of women by armed and uniformed state forces posed the greatest direct threat to civilian women. Rape and sexual violence of indigenous women by military men has been tolerated precisely because it is so commonplace. Battle-hardened or brutalized soldiers, who are often removed from access to the usual outlets for sexual frustration, are especially likely to become rapists. Moreover, chiefly characteristic of Western armies, group machismo evolves in close-knit combat units where sexual performance is prized just as highly as combat performance. While prostitution may be seen around any U.S. military base generally, military prostitution in Asia instituted by the U.S. occur within a colonial context, which distinguishes it from the nature of prostitution that takes place within the U.S. or Western European locations. Western societies often view Asian societies as less developed or underdeveloped, less sophisticated in comparison, and thus inferior to the West. These perceptions in turn color the interactions between U.S. servicemen and Asian women, which are further exacerbated by sexually denigrating stereotypes the West casts on Asian women. The narratives of many Asian women review the denigrating treatment they receive from American soldiers. Filipino sex workers, for example, frequently report being treated like a toy or a pig by the American soldiers and being required to do 3 holes: oral, vaginal, and anal sex. The system of prostitution perpetuated around U.S. military bases in Asia reaffirmed the West's perception of Asian women as sex objects. In these contexts, Asian sex workers are registered and tagged like domestic pets, further relegating them to a less than human status. Despite significant improvements in racial and sex equality over the last few decades, U.S. military men's treatment of women in Asia have failed to progress. As recent as the mid-90s, international controversy flared over an incident in Japan where 2 U.S. Marines and the U.S. Navy seaman gang raped a 12-year-old Japanese girl in Okinawa, Japan. They watched the girl enter a stationery store and decided to ambush her. The 2 Marines bound the girl with tape, pulled her shorts and underwear down to her ankles, and after the 3 men raped her, remarked that the girl looked like she enjoyed it. To filter an analysis of the Okinawa incident through either sex inequality or racial inequality exclusively fails to convey fully why this 12-year-old girl suffered. While many scholars see the convergence of sex and race stereotypes as the root cause of the incident, examination of these 2 components only is not enough. To realize the gravity of harm caused by sexual racial disparities between white men and Asian women, a tripartite inquest of colonial history along with the intersection of sex and race-related forces must be applied. First, the legacy of imperialism explains why the U.S. servicemen occupied Japan. After the Allies defeated the Axis powers in World War II, the United States took it upon itself to meddle in East Asian political affairs, namely regulating Japan to prevent it from engaging in imperialism. A sense of white supremacy meant the world could fall complacent to the idea that white imperialism was somehow better than Asian imperialism. Thus, while Japanese military presence in East Asia posed a threat to the world, American military presence would not. Second, the prevailing attitude that Asian women occupy an inferior position to white women, and even more so white men, assuaged the consciences of these 3 servicemen enough for them to not only rape the girl, but also express belief that she enjoyed the sexual conquest. Recall that, in the eyes of white men, Asian women seem to exist solely for their sexual gratification as hypersexed and unconditionally submissive creatures. The stereotype of Asian women as always consenting to sex allowed the 3 servicemen to deny the act as a rape. It is this potent triple combination of imperialist thought, racial inequality, and sexual inequality that perpetuate violence against Asian women by white men. Had these components not come together under white sexual imperialism, the Okinawa incident would never have occurred. Part 3. Revealing the undercurrents of white sexual imperialism in contemporary Asian feminist issues. Asian and diasporic Asian women face higher risk of racial and sexual harassment than their white counterparts because the Asian experience cannot escape the stain of sexual imperialism, which simply does not apply to the white woman's experience. See, if I were an American woman like her, I'd watch how I represent myself, because this bitch over here is an ignorant, privileged, racist bitch. I'll be criticizing this American slut in my next video, so bye for now.